Good morning. Happy birthday to me. 1 year sober today. So I hope it's okay that I've done this little video message to you because I've been waiting for this day for years. So I hope you can indulge me for a few minutes. And I know we're all at different stages of our journey, but I think this is a big milestone for me, and I've been looking forward to it for a year and more than a year, because I've been trying for years before that. But just wanted to just quickly, and I'll speak slowly, Claire, explain, quickly tell you my story. So I moved to Spain. I was always been a big drinker, and I used to love partying and everything. And then 4.5 years ago, I moved to Spain. So during that time, I sort of got married, moved to Spain, left everything behind me in England, sold everything that I had, moved here, didn't know anybody, couldn't speak Spanish, had to find a job, didn't have any mates, couldn't really communicate with anybody, was living with my in-laws, living in the apartment upstairs, so they were around all the time. I couldn't explain to them. I felt awkward because it was their apartment, and I couldn't explain. It was pissing me off that they were coming around all the time. So my way really to deal with it was to drink, and so I got out, because that gave me confidence to go and talk to people and make friends and all this sort of stuff. But then it just started getting out of hand, and I was lonely, and so I drank more, and then I wasn't really getting on with my in-laws or my wife. So that my way of sort of taking control in a stupid way was to get pissed. So it got worse and worse. Looking back now, I know I was suffering from stress as well from the move. So I was drinking to deal with the stress. So then there was numerous. It got worse and worse. Numerous incidents, because I was getting a lot of visitors coming to visit me for 3-4 days. So we basically going out on the bender for 4 days, and that is very, as you know, if you've been on a 4-day bender, it really fucks you up. So then I had the shakes and anxiety. I got a job at the British Embassy where I work now, but some days I'll be going in and I'll be lying on the floor in the toilets. I stunk of booze. It was bad. And all the things that you say you wouldn't do, you end up doing. Anyway, so then it started getting to the point where I was like wanting to kill myself, because I just couldn't see a way out of it. So I kept disappearing, blackouts. Wife was worried sick. Obviously at that point as well, we had a son as well. My son was born, so I was dealing with being a new dad. Then it was the pandemic, and I think that was really a real big factor, because I couldn't see my family and I had a newborn son. I was stuck in Spain on my own. So it all came to a head, and after numerous times I started drinking in the morning. I was drinking whilst I was working, because I was working from home. I'd go out in the mornings, get some whiskey and have Irish coffees, and then just pretty much drink all day. I had a few panic attacks, ended up in hospital, seeing psychologists, seeing alcohol services, trying to take various medication, and I don't know, it was hard, really hard. So then, anyway, I ended up in hospital a couple of times, but on the final time that I ended up in hospital because it was like mental health stuff and like suicidal. So when I, on the final one, I had a panic attack at work whilst I was working from home. That was it. I was going to kill myself. I've been on a 5-day bender. They took me to hospital, and they took me in this room, and I went apeshit and started throwing tables and chairs around. The security guys had to come in and sort of restrain me, and then they took me into another department, and they injected me some drugs to calm me down. And then they took me into this room, and it was, and so there's a bed there, so that's going to be my bed in this hospital. And then I realised that the bed had strappings all over it, so then they pinned me down on the bed and strapped me into this bed. I felt like fucking Hannibal Lecter. And I was fighting it. It was like 5'6", because I'm obviously strong as, but so they held me down and strapped me to this bed. And that was a year ago. Well, a year and 1 day ago it was. I was strapped to this bed, left me in this like ward on my own in this corner. It was awful, absolutely awful. Wanted to die. And my wife had had enough. You could just see it in her eyes. She was going to leave me. I was probably going to lose my job. I would have lost my son. I would have lost my house, and I would have even been a tramp. in the streets of Madrid, or I'd have been, I'd have to come back to England or try and sort it myself out. But fortunately, I've got some good friends around me. One guy put me in touch with this lad from the AA, so I started talking to him sort of a few times a week. Started taking this drug called Antabuse, which prevents you from drinking. Anxiety pills, antidepressants as well, which I'm still taking, but I think I've got an appointment on tomorrow actually with the psychologist, and he'll probably I think I'll stop taking the antidepressants because I feel alright now. So then obviously it was the you know, then the work started. So it was like, you know, the first few days obviously the alcohol's in your system, you got the shakes and all that sort of shit, but I just had to fight through it. You know, it's horrible, and the easy option is to pick up a drink, but I had to pick the hard option and to get through that maybe a week and a half. Then after that, you know, you start to settle down a bit, you can feel your body starting to feel better. You get to a month and you feel better, you noticeably better, and then you're counting the days and the weeks and the month, and then the day at a time is the way to look at it. Although at the beginning you're counting the days, then you count the weeks, then you're looking at the milestones then, you know. And so then I started looking at different self-help things, so videos and books, Russell Brand's books, I enjoyed them. The AA book, the big book, I think it's worth reading, whether you believe in the AA or not. I think it's worth reading. And the various podcasts. But I think the AA book, I was having meetings, online meetings. I got to physical meetings in Madrid. There are ones where they speak English. Meditation, thinking about what you're going to do, avoiding situations where alcohol is going to be around, or having a plan to get out of it. And have that inner strength, but you're really, really going to want it. I know we want it, and it's hard, but I don't think you can do it on your own. You know, I tried loads of times to do it on my own, and it just didn't happen. So when I started asking for help, I sort of admitted it. It is quite liberating when you know, it's not nice to say that you're an alcoholic, but then when you realise that you don't have to drink again, you know, you've got a thing that you can say to people, I can't drink. It's liberating, because every time I knew I had going on a night out or something, I'd have like, thinking, oh shit, I'm going to have an hangover, how long is this going to go on for, and all that sort of thing. So as it goes on, it gets easier, and the longer you go, the more you want to protect it. So I've been to weddings and gigs and holidays and golf weekends, all these opportunities where I want to drink. And of course there's times where you fancy a drink, of course there is, but like if you take the Antabuse you can't anyway. But generally, I had that just determination then in me to say, no, you know, it's what, you know, and then you start enjoying the freshness, getting up in the morning, you start appreciating other things. So now I can miles better speaking Spanish. I'm studying a counselling course on alcohol, and I'm sort of looking at meditation and yoga and all these sort of things, and thinking about the higher power. Like, so God, I don't know what God is or what it looks like or what he or she looks like, but I believe there is something above us. And having that in your mind, to think that there's a higher thing protecting you or guiding you, it's quite reassuring, I find. So to me, spirituality is a big part of the alcoholism. There's something that's broken in your soul that you need to fix. It's usually relationships and bereavement and unhappiness and all the things that have happened in the past. So when you do your 12 steps, then you obviously, I mentioned it yesterday, you do the inventory, and it's about letting things go. You know, I think that's really important, that you've got to let things go, and talking about them with somebody, a sponsor or whatever, just getting them out and just picturing them, like burn the paper, write it on the sand and let the water wash it away, something like that, just to symbolise letting the problems go, because they're not going to do you any good. Holding on to negative feelings only, you know, affects you in a negative way. It's not, you don't need it, you've got to get rid of it, you know. So it's like a fresh start and them sorts of things. So what I was trying to say is all of us have got circumstances that have brought us to this point. I've explained mine about the move to Spain and everything like that. We've all got our circumstances that bring us here, but it's about, you know, accepting that you've got a problem, asking for help, really being determined. You know, it's hard, of course it is, but anything that's worth doing is hard. And opening up your mind and your heart to spirituality and higher powers and the beauty of life, things like that, and be selfish. You know, say no to the parties and avoid people that are going to encourage you to drink and all that sort of stuff. You've got to think about yourself, otherwise you'll never get through it. So I've rabbled on for far longer than I wanted to, so apologies for that, but this is something that I've wanted to share for a long time. This group is just amazing. You know, I really value all of you, and it'd be great to meet up with you at one point someday, and I'm always here to listen to any of you if you ever do. And I'm not saying that I'm now cured or, like, you know, amazing or anything like that. I just wanted to share what I've been through, and now my plan is to carry this message. I'm going to put something on Facebook in a bit, offer it, because I know there's people from my hometown that have got alcohol. I know for my best mate is a serious alcoholic, so all you can do is offer the help. The hard work comes down to the individual, but support is really, really vitally important. Right, I think I'll stop it there, but I just wanted to say, get that off my chest. Thanks so much everybody for being around and listening and being such great people, and I really, really hope and pray for all of you that you can get it, you know, get yourselves, you know, to a year like I have, and I believe that you can. You know, I really believe that you can. You're all remarkable people, intelligent and funny and passionate and supportive. So yeah, so anyway, have a great day. Thanks for listening to me rabbiting on, and if you ever need anything, please just send me a message and I'll be more than happy to. Alright, have a good day.